And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a game called Tutankhamun. This is a reprint of an older game. So way back in the day, this game came from Out of the Box Publishing, who did Apples to Apples, which was their most popular game. But Tutankhamun was a small little game that they did from Reiner Knizia. It's a game that I really enjoyed, and it was the first game that introduced me to the idea of, hey, you can go as far as you want on this path, but you can't go back. Now, they've changed the rules slightly for this updated version, and they've definitely changed the look for it. The version that I'm looking at today is the Kickstarter version, which is over-the-top deluxe, but let's take a look at it and see how it plays. In this game, you're going to take all the tiles and put them in a winding path that leads to the player's boats. Up to 6 players can play this game. And depending on how many players play the game, you're going to start with a certain number of points here. 18, you're trying to cleanse your spirit, so the first person to 0 wins. So here, with 6 players, you start at 18, but you can go higher based on the number of players. So on a player's turn, they're going to take their boat on the river and they're going to move it forwards or backwards. When moving your boat forwards, you can move it as far as you want and stop on any tile and take that tile. So I could take this tile, for example, but I could move, all the way up to here if I want to. When you're moving backwards, you have to go to the last tile that's behind you only. So let's say I go here and I take this tile. Now, every tile in this game is one of 3 different things. It's part of a set, or it's a ring, or it's a god tile. Each god tile has a different special ability that's going to be affected. So, for example, here in Ra, this one, when I take it, basically lets me take any tile I want and stick it in the underworld from anywhere on the board. And another one lets me swap 2 tiles. Another one lets me collect a tile that's behind my boat, etc. If I take a set, I just put it in front of me. But first I check to see if all the tiles from that set are collected by players or are in the underworld. So this one, there are 8 tiles in the set. I went first. That's not happening. Then maybe the next player goes here. When you collect one of these, a ring is a different kind of set. This one simply reduces your spirit by 1 instantly. Now, when the last ring is taken, and there's a lot of rings, whoever has the most rings will get a bonus of 5 spirit that they get taken away. So getting rings will drop your spirit a little bit, but more importantly, if you have the most, you can lose a lot of spirit that way. And so players are taking turns doing this. You go clockwise around the table, then next time you move, you can go forward, or you can go backwards and take the different tiles. If the last boat moves past some tiles, not taking them, and all boats are past tiles, and those tiles get thrown in the underworld. And in the underworld, tiles will count for scoring purposes. So when the last set of a tile is in the underworld or a player takes it, we score that set. Whoever has the most of that set is going to lose that much spirit. So you lose 8 spirit. And whoever has the second most would lose half that spirit, 4. Then all those tiles from everybody and from the underworld are thrown into the box. The underworld is also, if you play a 2-player game, the underworld acts as a 3rd player and will be scoring too. This will continue, the game will continue as players move down the path of the river until one person manages to reduce their spirit to 0, having cleansed their spirit, and that person is the winner of the game. The original game of this had very mediocre looking components. It's not a great looking game by any means. This one looks better, but I am concerned about the functionality. The blue here on the river is really bright. It's not so easy to see what's back, and they put different, like these here have a circle, these have a triangle, but that is not easy to tell the difference. Now you might say, oh, well, you can just tell this is 1, this is 2, but I'm telling you, at a glance, it wasn't at a glance to see how many tiles were left. I had to actually look and count all the time. I just wish these were a little bit lighter. Now, that being said, they're wood tiles. They're fantastic. The boats look great. The underworld thing here, which is cool. I mean, what are these statues for? Just excess, you know. Even this. What is this for? It's nothing. It's just in here for cool factor. Now, that's cool, but the one aspect I actually don't like is while these canopic jars are neat to move around here, they look cool, and each person has a different one. Moving them around the box, I don't find to be a very effective way of scoring. You have to like pull it off and move it past other ones. It just didn't work as well as I want. I am happy that they give everyone, there's a reference card for each player that shows what all the god tiles do. So there's that. So the component quality here, I mean, first of all, it's really high. It just could be a little bit more functional. As a small note here, I opened up the non-Kickstarter box, the retail version. It still has this giant tomb in it. There's no printing on the different wooden pieces, and the tiles are regular cardboard, and those giant statues and that little pad aren't there for the underworld. So there's a little bit less excess, although my thoughts on the tiles and the dark blue pattern on them still stands. I mean, you can even get a playmat for this game. I don't think this game needs to be that big. This is one of those times where the component quality is a little too grandiose for the smallness of the game. It's slightly detracting. But taking all that out, I really do like this game. It's a very fun one. Players are moving, trying to collect sets. You're watching every set that other people are getting. You fight over it. How many tiles do you want to control a set? If there's 8 tiles in a set, I can take 5 and I'm going to win that set. Is that worth it, though, to spend 5 of my turns to get 8 points, or to lose 8 points, or to maybe I should be getting a bunch of sets and maybe going for second place? The game goes up to 6. I don't know if it's amazing at 6, but the fact that it goes to 6 is definitely something most games don't do. I played it recently with 5. That worked really well, but it also works well with 3 and 4. It's pretty fast. And the rules changes. Now, it's been a long time since I played the original game, but going back one space is not bad. Sometimes you want to do that, but you know, how far forward do you go? You don't want to shoot to the end. We thought about that. Shoot to the end and then just start slowly going backwards. You'll get tiles before everybody else, but they thought of that. What Dr. Knizia did in the rules is if there's a tie for first place, which could happen, the boat that's farther back wins the tie. That likely will come into play in your games, and that makes you inch a little bit. But if you inch, you might not get the tiles you want either. The god tiles are also something that I don't believe was in the original game. They had a little bit of chaos in the sense that they let you do different things. You will often skip them because they don't usually give you something. They let you manipulate it, which could help you control a set, but sometimes it's better just to get part of a set. I'm making this game sound more complex than it is. It's a very light, simple, easy game, a welcoming game, a game that's a lot of people are going to jump into the hobby with. And for that, I'm glad that it exists. It's an interesting theme. This is a very beautiful new version. Like I said, slightly overproduced, but still a beautiful version of the game. And I think a lot of people are going to have fun with it. Check it out. That's Tutankhamun. I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching the Dice Tower. Dice Tower Judgment approved.